You're in a place right now and you know you're drinking too much. You know you want to do something about it, stop, reduce, whatever, but something keeps holding you back, then you need to watch this video because sometimes it almost feels like we want to get somewhere, but there's this invisible force that actually stops us from doing it. It's a really strange feeling, but listen, I wanted to tell you that I have been in your shoes. I felt that force. I've had this desire to change, but something just actually stopped me from properly following through. And my goal for you today is I want to make this the final video that you ever watch about not drinking alcohol. I want this to be like the final nail in the coffin and then it's done. Because it is possible for you to solve this problem like you solve any other problem in your life. Stopping drinking isn't like cleaning. It's not something you should be having to do every few days. Stopping drinking should be more like giving birth. You do it and then that's it. The problem's fixed. Yet society treats stopping drinking more like cleaning. I know these are strange examples, but hopefully you're getting the point. But we live in a world where we should constantly revisit this thing. We should constantly go to meetings, go and talk about our problems with a therapist, keep taking medication and keep trying to not drink. But it's possible for you to fix this problem once and then that's it. That's what I've done. That's what I've been doing for the past 6 years. And I wanted to let you know that it is possible for you to do this as well, but you need to watch this video. So a quick intro. My name is Leon Sylvester. I'm the founder of SoberClear.com and I've been where you are. And I'm going to tell you right now that there is one thing that is standing in your way. And it's going to sound offensive, so please don't click off the video once I say this, because I'm going to get you a plan to overcome it. But that one thing is fear. Now, if you actually think about it, if you reflect on your life, think about all the big decisions that you made that changed your life in a great way. Maybe it was getting married. Maybe it was a certain school that you went to, a career. Maybe it was a stranger that you met and you just approached them and spoke to them, and then that relationship changed your life. When I reflect on my own life, I think of the big things I've done. And I remember the first time I actually went to a gym and I was like Googling like, I'm afraid. And people were saying, you know, you'll get there on the first date. Nobody cares about you. Nobody's looking at you. But I remember the feeling of walking up the stairs and hearing the metal clanging. And I was terrified. I remember talking to my girlfriend for the first time. I actually saw it in a bar when I wasn't drinking. And I thought, oh, I should go and talk to her. And I froze and I'm like, oh. I even think about posting my very first YouTube video. This was a long time ago. It's unlisted right now. But I felt sick. I was shaking. I felt literally physically sick before I pressed post. And isn't it weird? It's the same with alcohol. We're all afraid to actually get rid of it. But then we reflect on our life and we think of all the big things that have happened. But whenever we make a big decision that can change our life in a good way, what else comes up? We don't necessarily feel 100% confident and optimistic. When we're making a change, we feel fear. And it's like this feeling of what's going to happen once I've done that thing. You know, when I went to that gym, what's going to happen when I walk in there? Are people going to be like, look at this skinny kid? Am I going to go to a machine and not know how to use it and someone's going to come over like, what are you doing? You're not allowed to be here. You don't know what you're doing. See, this is the thing is I didn't know. I was afraid. When I spoke to Or, when I went to talk to her, I'm thinking, oh, what happens if she just laughs at me and says, get away from me? What happens if she rejects me? When I posted that video on YouTube, I thought everybody's going to laugh at me. They're going to think I'm some weirdo. You know, we get these things that come up in our head and it's always the fear of the unknown. And it's no different when stopping drinking. This feeling comes up of how am I going to deal with life without alcohol? How am I going to de-stress? How am I going to socialize? How are people going to react? But I am going to make you a promise right now. If you're afraid of not drinking alcohol, if you feel this fear that somehow life will be worse without drinking, it's okay. It's okay to feel that fear. I felt that fear. Everybody feels that fear. It's not just you. But do you know what the solution is to that fear? Of course you know what it is, and you know where I'm going with this. But what do you think happened after I posted that YouTube video for the first time? Nobody cared. All those fears that I had were made up in my own head. Now, luckily, when I spoke to Or, we got on. She could have rejected me, but even if she did, it didn't mean anything. When I went to the gym, nobody cared. Everybody was just doing their own thing. And I built all these things up in my head and I was like shaking, physically shaking at some points. But as soon as I actually took action and I did it, all the fear disappeared. There was nothing to actually be afraid of. And I wanted to let you know that if you feel any apprehension towards stopping drinking alcohol and any kind of weird feelings start coming up, that it's okay. But I promise you that if you actually do something, if you commit to something, that feeling will completely disappear. And I can say this until I'm blue in the face. I could scream it, I could shout it, I could make all the promises in the world, but these promises won't remove the fear for you. The only thing that can remove the fear is you, and you taking action. See, sitting around and watching YouTube videos can be helpful. It can help you shift your beliefs, but nothing will help you more on this journey than taking action. So what do I mean? What kind of action can you take? And the answer is I don't know. I don't know exactly what action you should take. See, my mum took action when she wanted to stop drinking. And my mum went to AA meetings. And my mum has not drank for over 20 years. But what she didn't do was, sit back and fold her arms and think, oh, I should probably change. No, she did something. She took action. She went somewhere and she actually committed to a program. She made a commitment. I tried that path. I went to AA for 90 days, something like that. I did the 12 steps. I thought I was an alcoholic, but that wasn't the path for me. Sure, it got me some time under my belt, but it just wasn't the thing for me. And if you've tried AA, you've tried stopping on your own, not telling anybody, not really doing anything, just not drinking, then maybe it's time to do something different. See, maybe you already know what you need to do. Maybe for you it is going to an AA meeting. I don't know. But if you feel like you want to do something different and you know that you actually need to do something, you need to take a step and stop thinking about change and actually start something, get something in motion, then I want to invite you to work with me directly. See, I've developed a system in my company, SoberClear.com, that involves you actually making a commitment. There's a financial commitment, but there's also a mental commitment where it's like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm taking action. Here are steps I've got to do. So instead of thinking about not drinking and thinking about it and almost being afraid, I have literally got a process for you to follow. And when you follow it, that fear disappears. Because instead of sitting there and thinking about change, you actually start doing things. And one of the first actions that you can take is if you click the link below this video, you can actually book a call. There'll be a calendar that you can go to. You'll choose a time, you'll answer a few questions, and you and I can get on a phone call and see if working together is actually a good match. What about that? How's that? You're actually then doing something. You're clicking a link, you're doing something, you're putting in your details, and you're getting on a phone call. How much better is that than sitting around trying to do it on your own? Now, the call is free. If it's a good match, great, let's get started working together. But if not, at least you're doing something. And just watch how good you feel after you've taken that step. And listen, I'm not trying to turn this into some kind of sales pitch, right? My goal is for you to stop drinking. Whether you do it with my program, whether you do it with the YouTube channels, whether you do it with something completely different. All I want to do is play a part on that journey. So whatever it is that you decide to do, just do something. If you want to click the link, great, book a call. And if you do something completely different, then I'm equally happy for you because all I want you to do is change because I know you can do this. I believe in you. Have a great day.